This Christmas morning, Pope Francis says his heart is with Bethlehem, which is unusually vacant due to the Israel-Hamas war. This weekend, one of the deadliest in Gaza. We're live in Jerusalem with the latest on the intensifying military operations. Plus, new details in that Chinese spy balloon flying over the U.S. earlier this year.
I do think that the American people probably had the right to know it was capable of collecting their cell phone data.
What the president knew and when, and how long the government reportedly wanted to keep it all a secret.
How's it going? This is Specialist Rivera with Charlie Company 626 BSB from MK, Romania. Just want to give a shout out to my wife Isabella and my son Mason and all my family in California. I just want you all to have a happy holidays.
And a stunning rescue in Florida as an 18-wheeler dangles off an overpass. What may have led to this accident and how the driver is doing this Christmas Day. It's Christmas morning in America.
Right now, you're taking a live look at the Bellagio Hotel in Las Vegas. Or is that Santa's Workshop, Nick?
I'm thinking that's Santa's Workshop. There are a whole lot of lights there. But that's Vegas, the city of lights. It looks fantastic.
Gorgeous.
It does. It looks fantastic.
Well, from our news station headquarters in America's heartland, it is time for news for all America. I'm Kelsey Kernstein, in for Marky Martin.
And I'm Nick Smith, in for Adrian Banker. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Kelsey, I have to say this, first of all. I'm loving that we both did the red.
Oh, me too. Merry Christmas to everyone at home.
Absolutely. But we do have some news we need to get to this morning. And we want to start over in Israel. We begin in Gaza and perhaps one of the deadliest airstrikes since the war began. The Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry says an Israeli airstrike on a refugee camp in central Gaza killed at least 68 people.
Israel Defense Forces say they've hit Hamas targets, including terrorist cells. The IDF says at least 17 of their own soldiers were killed this weekend. Associated Press correspondent Isabel Debre joins us live from Jerusalem with the very latest on the ground. Isabel.
The Gaza Strip is still reeling from this deadly strike that you just mentioned that hit the Maghazi refugee camp in the central Gaza Strip, killing over 70 people, including women and children. And we spoke to the Red Crescent ambulance crews today who said that the level of destruction was so intense that it forced the closure of roads all over the central Gaza Strip and effectively prevented ambulances from getting to the site overnight and early this morning. So they believe that many bodies remain trapped under the rubble and perhaps even survivors as well. And we also heard this morning from the Israeli military. They responded to requests for comment on this strike. They said they're monitoring those reports of civilian deaths that we just spoke about. And they also insisted that they're abiding by international law. This, of course, addresses those rising concerns that we've seen in the past several weeks as the civilian death toll in Gaza has surged. And also, as you mentioned, we are seeing from the Israeli military that an additional 2 troops were killed overnight. That brings that toll since Friday to 17. And this brings the overall death toll of Israeli troops in Gaza since the beginning of the ground invasion to 156. Of course, this is important to watch, especially when you think about those Israeli claims that it has dealt the Hamas militant group a very severe blow. This shows that clearly Hamas is still entrenched somehow. It's still fighting. And we even saw this morning air raid sirens wail out in the southern border communities in Israel, basically indicating that rocket fire from the Gaza Strip continued. And we also heard from Palestinians that there was intense fighting in northern Gaza this morning, particularly in the Jabalia refugee camp, which is famous for the Hamas militant stronghold. And we had previously heard from the Israeli military that it had exerted full control over this camp. So that indicates that these battles are really continuing.
And Isabel, both disturbing in all of that, it may be that there are still survivors trapped in that rubble. Isabel Debre, thank you so much. Well, Pope Francis, who has repeatedly called for a ceasefire in Gaza, speaking right now in a Christmas address at the Vatican. This is His Holiness's 11th Christmas as pontiff. In Sunday's Christmas Eve Mass, the Pope condemning, quote, the futile logic of war. Pope Francis also saying his heart is in Bethlehem, the birthplace of Jesus in the West Bank. Festivities there are canceled today due to the war in the Gaza Strip.
A Christmas Eve shooting at a Colorado Springs mall left 1 person dead and at least 3 others injured. Police detained several people at the scene. Authorities said 2 groups of people were fighting before the shooting broke out. Now, officers believe that those that were hurt or killed were part of the groups that were fighting. The mall is expected to reopen as scheduled on Tuesday. And police in Florida are searching for this man here on your screen, 39-year-old Albert Schell Jr. He allegedly shot and killed a man and injured a woman. Now, authorities say that Schell opened fire at a mall about 80 miles outside of Orlando on Saturday. They believe the victim was targeted. Police issued an arrest warrant for a premeditated first-degree murder. Ocala police have offered a $5,000 reward to anyone with any further information leading to Schell's arrest.
And this morning, we have new video of a massive migrant caravan heading toward the U.S. border. Around 6,000 people seen here leaving southern Mexico on Sunday. Their miles-long journey underway as the U.S. grapples with as many as 10,000 arrests per day at the southern border this month. Secretary of State Antony Blinken set to travel to Mexico City Wednesday to hammer out solutions to the border crisis. Friday, Mexico's President Lopez Obrador signaling he's willing to work with the U.S. on migration.
Congress is on their holiday recess until the January 8th. It leaves government funding, Ukraine aid, and border security on the table until the new year. The delay seems fitting for this 118th Congress. The House passed only 27 bills that became law this year, despite holding a total of 724 votes. That's according to the New York Times. It makes it the least productive Congress since 1932. Joe Khalil, he joins us live from Washington this morning with a look back on this year in American politics. Hey there, Joe.
Hey, Kelsey. So, look, we're putting together this list of political winners and losers in 2023. For it not being an election year, it was a pretty tumultuous year, politically speaking. So let's get into it. I want to start with our winners who had a good year. I have four, and the first one is a bit tongue-in-cheek. Number 4 on our list is just the retirees. You talked about the dysfunction in Congress. A lot of people say it's an unhappy place to work. They don't feel like they can get a lot done. So collectively, one winner is the people who are just leaving and hopefully finding more happiness on the other side. Number 3, I have Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic House Minority Leader. There's been a lot of dysfunction on the other side of the aisle. And so in contrast, he has really been able to be a steady hand and keep his party united. He's done a fair job at that. Clearly, the party respects him. So Hakeem Jeffries, our number 3 winner. Number 2 is Mike Johnson, the Republican Speaker of the House. He went from a relatively unknown person outside of Washington this year to becoming the number 2 in line for the presidency. And it's clear that the Republican House majority trusts him. Now, how long that goodwill may last, that's going to be a question for the new year. But for now, he has had a good year. And number 1 on our list, we're putting former President Donald Trump. When you think about the fact that this man is facing 90-plus felony counts, and at the beginning of the year, the thought was he had too much political baggage to carry the Republican nomination. But now his poll numbers over the last few months have skyrocketed in the face of those felony indictments. He's also now far and ahead the most likely person to win the Republican nomination. So for that reason, we're putting him number 1. Politically speaking, had a good year. Now, let's go to our losers, and we're going to start with number 5. There was some scandal here. Senator Bob Menendez from New Jersey. He is now facing serious criminal charges, accused of bribery, taking hundreds of thousands of dollars and gold bars, among other gifts from the Egyptian government. Serious charges. He is still in Congress, has not resigned. Clearly not a good year for him. Of course, number 4, what would this list be without George Santos, the fabulist who virtually made up his entire biography, but he's also now facing some very credible allegations that he took hundreds of thousands of dollars from his donors and misused them on personal things, trips, luxury clothes, an OnlyFans account, among others. He was forced out of Congress, something that is incredibly rare, so he didn't have a great year either. President Joe Biden, love him or hate him, it's been a really tough year for the commander-in-chief. His poll numbers among Democrats have dropped significantly. There are concerns still about his age, about the way that he handled Gaza and the war there. Some Democrats have sort of lost faith. And then you add to that concerns about his own son, who was indicted this year, Hunter Biden. So add that all up. It's a tough year for the president. Number 2, for losers this year, Governor Ron DeSantis. At the beginning of the year, he had a lot of steam, a lot of momentum. People thought he was going to overtake former President Trump. But since then, his poll numbers have dropped dramatically. His super PAC team has all but left him. Many of his big donors have left him. He still has a long shot chance at the nomination, but it is a sliver of what it was. He's lost a lot of momentum. And our number one person on this list, which you don't want to be on this year, Kevin McCarthy. His lifetime political goal was to become Speaker of the House. He achieved it. It took him 17 rounds of voting to achieve it. And then he was removed from that position by his own party, the only man in history to have that unfortunate designation. So there you guys have it, Nick. Those are our winners and losers of this political 2023.
Oh, Joe, and we have 2024 to go. Oh, yeah. Loving it all. Joe Khalil, thank you so much.
We do. Election year.
Exactly. For more, let's bring in Republican strategist Rina Shah. Rina, you just heard Joe talk about the winners and losers. You know who I want to add to that list of winners? I'm going to say the American people. We saw record turnout this year at many of our midterm elections and off-year elections, showing that people are genuinely engaged in the political process. But Rina, I have to ask you, who is your pick for Republicans' biggest political winner this year?
Well, I must say it's been an interesting year on Capitol Hill on both chambers. I think it's a joy to be here this morning because I always love these lists. They always get the usual suspects, but there are some unknowns sometimes that slip out. And for me, it's in the House side. There's Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who's from South Carolina. She's a relatively junior member. And I bring her up because there weren't many women in politics that stood out for me this year, but she was one of them, being the only woman to be part of that group of less than 10 people that ousted Speaker McCarthy. She's been somewhat of a rebel rouser. She wore the scarlet letter A on her shirt famously in the days after his ouster. And I think she's somebody to really look at because not only has she shed a fiance, she recently booted numerous male members of her staff. This is a very unusual woman in politics. And so she's catching my eye. And I must say, I think she's quite a winner on the House side. Now, on the Senate side, though, I want to finger one loser who was not on the list, and that's Senator Tuberville. He also is somewhat different when it comes to Republicans and abortion. Just like Nancy Mace has always given a bit of a nuanced answer on abortion, Senator Tuberville staged a political stunt for months on end that held up military promotions, all because he had a problem with the Pentagon's abortion policy. So in my book, he's a big loser.
What about some of your winners, Rina?
Well, moving on to the winners, I think let's look at the economy writ large. We always talk about who can be a booster. It was women in music this year. If you were not awake, you didn't realize what was going on around you. It was a mega blockbuster concerts from Beyonce to Taylor Swift to now Madonna, who's on tour. I think these women have single-handedly, and we know this about Taylor and Beyonce, they have boosted the economy. There were so many moms who came out of the pandemic saying, we got to get back to live music. They took their daughters with them, and guess what? They bought so much merchandise. These women should be credited with giving the American economy a boost.
And Rina, we saw that those concert goers were buying tickets, they were buying merchandise, they were filling up restaurants, they were filling up hotels, and so many cities benefited.
And guess what? You know what? That's the American spirit right there. We get out there and we don't just do it around the holidays. Of course, today's a great day to go and do some shopping online, perhaps even. I know many of my peers will be doing that. But I will say for these women in music, we didn't really see it coming. We knew they could be great performance artists, but I think we'll see more of this. People just saying, hey, let's get back together. Let's get united. We've got an election year coming up. So we're going to see people on the trail also evoke some, I hope, some degree of positivity. I think Nikki Haley is another winner in my book. Again, I'm talking about the women here who are surprising me. When she started her bid, she wasn't somebody I would have said, hey, let's keep looking at her. But she's really been successful so far, and she's a winner in my book.
And we're also seeing her poll numbers climb exponentially in New Hampshire. But Rina, right. I do want to ask you, when we talk about, since you've shifted to the political race and the presidential race of 2024, where does former President Trump rank in all of this? Is he a political winner or loser this year, in your opinion?
In my opinion, he wins on being able to stay relevant and, of course, look as if he's winning in the polls. But like I said, I find Nikki Haley's candidacy to be successful, even if she doesn't get the GOP nomination. The fact that she's been able to sort of break through the noise of Trump, which is massive, I think that says something right there. But looking at the former president himself, some 90 counts of wrongdoing, indictments across 4 jurisdictions, 3 states in the District of Columbia. This is somebody who's a political loser in my book. There's nothing in American modern history that shows a figure as divisive as him, who has gone to private life and continues to grab the megaphone the way he does. And he doesn't always do it with positivity. So again, a loser in my book here.
Well, there's one sure political winner this morning, and that is you, Rena, for joining us this Christmas morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to all.
Merry Christmas. Well, Southwest Airlines was forced to cancel nearly 300 flights on Christmas Eve. But unlike last Christmas, it wasn't from a blizzard impacting cities from coast to coast. Heavy fog settled in at Chicago's Midway Airport on Sunday, causing around 200 flight cancellations. Midway serves as one of Southwest's hubs and is one of the busiest airports in Southwest's system. Around 100 Southwest flights have already been canceled nationwide today, but none of that, Kelsey, stopped us from getting here to work on time.
And I'm happy to be here with you, but I got to show you these scary moments on a Florida highway. An 18-wheeler dangling off an overpass. Take a look at that. How it ended up there and how the driver is doing after the daring rescue.
And for many Americans, the gift of giving is what makes Christmas so special. We're live at one of America's oldest missions as volunteers spend their Christmas morning helping those in need.
Sergeant Torres, HSC Cap. Merry Christmas. I love you guys. I miss you guys very much.
Hi, I'm Captain Sam Dunning with HHC 1 Cab, and I'd like to wish my family a Merry Christmas. I love you guys very much, and I can't wait to see you.
Hi, I'm Specialist Gerald. I'm with the 601st Combat Aviation Brigade. I just want to say to my family that I love you very much. I wish you happy holidays and greetings, and I'll see you when I get back home.
The all-in-one and done symptom relief of Mucinex is delivered fast with DoorDash, so you don't have to leave the couch. Boom. That was fast. Mucinex, available on DoorDash. It's comeback season.
With Nurtec ODT, I can treat a migraine when it strikes and prevent migraine attacks, all in one.
Don't take if allergic to Nurtec. Allergic reactions can occur, even days after using. Most common side effects were nausea, indigestion, and stomach pain.
Ask about Nurtec ODT.
Meet Gold Bond Daily Healing, a powerhouse lotion that moisturizes, heals, and smooths dry skin with 7 moisturizers and 3 vitamins. And new Gold Bond Healing Sensitive, clinically shown to heal and moisturize dry, sensitive skin. Gold Bond.
I told myself I was okay with my moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis symptoms.
With my psoriatic arthritis symptoms. But just okay isn't okay.
And I was done settling.
If you still have symptoms after a TNF blocker like Humira or Enbrel, Rinvoq is different and may help. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill that can rapidly relieve joint pain, stiffness, and swelling in RA and PSA, relieve fatigue for some, and stop joint damage. And in PSA, can leave skin clear or almost clear.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers including lymphoma and skin, heart attack, stroke, and GI tears occurred. People 50 and older with a heart disease risk factor have an increased risk of death. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Done settling?
Ask your rheumatologist for Rinvoq.
And take back what's yours.
AbbVie could help you save.
Ram makes trucks for everyone. Like those with holiday spirit. And those with not so much. We make trucks for good Samaritans, good neighbors, and even people covered in tree sap. Whatever life you live this holiday, Ram has a truck for you.
During the Ram Wrap Up the Year sales event, get 10% below MSRP plus no monthly payments for 90 days on virtually all 2023 Ram light duty and heavy duty trucks.
New Emergency Crystals pop and fizz when you throw them back. And who doesn't love a good throwback? Emergency Crystals.
Everybody says that they're different and they're going to be better.
Big fan of the show. Big fan of you, too. I think you stand with integrity, man. I like that about you.
But the proof is always in your actions.
Sue and I have been watching you for a long time. This is the best you've ever been.
I'm willing to do what's hard in order to help.
I love you, Chris, and thank you so much for what you do for us. You put out the truth, and that's what we need in this world. Thank you, brother. Go get them.
Cuomo, weeknights at 8, 7 Central on News Nation.
Christmas really is a day to unwrap presents and spend time with our loved ones. We all know that. It's also the day for many Americans to give back. It is about spreading Christmas cheer to those who might be in need this holiday season. And Dre Clark joins us live from New York City at Bowery Mission, providing holiday meals to those in need. Dre, good morning.
Kelsey, hello and Merry Christmas to you. You know, this morning, millions of people all across the country are waking up to gifts under the tree, food in the oven, and they have a warm place to celebrate the holiday. But unfortunately, more than 600,000 people across this country are considered homeless, including more than 2 million children. And that's why the work they do here at the Bowery Mission on Manhattan's Lower East Side is so important. And on this Christmas holiday, many homeless and underprivileged people will be lining up to get their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, the Bowery Mission has been around since the 1800s, making it one of the oldest missions in the country. The mission estimates they see about 1,000 visitors every day who need a hot meal. And on any given day, you'll come here and see a line stretching down the block and around the corner. The mission, which is a faith-based institution, provides not just meals, but also clothing and social services. There's also an area where people can come and shower. Part of their mission is to treat people with dignity despite their life circumstances. The heartbeat of the operation are the many volunteers who come here day in and day out to serve those in need, knowing they're making a difference. And this morning, those volunteers will be right back here serving on this Christmas morning. And also on this holiday, again, it's business as usual. Hot meals will be served, with families also being able to spend some time together inside the mission here. In the last year, more migrant families have started showing up for services as New York City is dealing with a significant influx of migrants coming here from the southern border in Texas. But no one is turned away and no one is made to feel that their life does not matter. Now, this same scene happening here in New York City will also play out at different shelters and missions all across the country. One other note here, in this city of 8+ million people, the mission estimates 1 out of every 83 people are considered homeless, and that's why they believe the work they're doing here at the mission is so very important. Nick, Kelsey.
The work they are doing is so important. Dre, thank you for that report.
Absolutely. Giving dignity to those in need is always important to do.
Really?
Well, Kelsey, a new report alleges President Biden tried to keep a secret from the American public. It ultimately ballooned into one of the biggest stories of the year. Details on what some people claim the White House didn't want us to know.
And check this out. Video of Christmas lights in. You can see the Eiffel Tower there, all lit up, trees covered in lights. This is all happening as shoppers are hitting stores in the area.
Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the Christmas spirit break.
Here's why you should switch from Google to DuckDuckGo on all your devices. DuckDuckGo comes with a built-in search engine like Google, but it's private and doesn't spy on your searches. And DuckDuckGo lets you browse like Chrome, but it blocks cookies and creepy ads that follow you around from Google and other companies. And there's no catch. It's free. We make money from ads, but they don't follow you around. Join the millions of people taking back their privacy by downloading DuckDuckGo on all your devices today.
The all-in-one and done symptom relief of Mucinex is delivered fast with DoorDash, so you don't have to leave the couch. Boom. That was fast. Mucinex, available on DoorDash. It's comeback season.
Consumer Cellular, this is Sam. How may I help you? This is a butt dial. Well, somebody's butt. Just thought I'd let you know that with Consumer Cellular, you can get the same exact coverage as the leading carriers, but for up to half the price.
I told myself I was okay with my moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis symptoms, with my psoriatic arthritis symptoms. But just okay isn't okay. And I was done settling.
If you still have symptoms after a TNF blocker like Humira or Enbrel, Rinvoq is different and may help. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill that can rapidly relieve joint pain, stiffness, and swelling in RA and PSA, relieve fatigue for some, and stop joint damage. And in PSA, can leave skin clear or almost clear.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers including lymphoma and skin, heart attack, stroke, and GI tears occurred. People 50 and older with a heart disease risk factor have an increased risk of death. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Done settling?
Ask your rheumatologist for Rinvoq.
And take back what's yours.
AbbVie could help you save. News Nation is on the move.
With the largest week-to-week growth among all cable news networks. With the biggest audiences yet, day and night. Trust News Nation for news that is fair, fearless, and respectful to all.
Our audience is growing for a reason.
Thank you for making News Nation the fastest growing cable news network in the country. To watch News Nation, go to joinnn.com and see why News Nation is news for all America.
America, a nation of doers, dreamers, and fighters. And this great nation deserves a news network that doesn't take sides, but instead is built to bring us back together.
News Nation's not going anywhere.
News Nation is here to tell the story of all Americans without the partisan agendas, with respect for all of us. See why America's fastest growing cable news network is News Nation, news for all America.
Welcome back. We're taking a live look right now at Vatican City, where the Pope just delivered his Christmas message. This is the 11th year he's done this as pontiff, and the faithful always turn out.
Remarkable. Wish we were there. Well, this half an hour, new details about the Chinese spy balloon seen floating over the U.S. earlier this year. The data it reportedly was collecting and the plans to keep it a secret from Americans.
And the American Heart Association warning about the rise in heart attacks over the holiday season. Why they say it's especially important to take care of your heart this week.
Plus, 2023 has been packed full of events. We are nearing the end of the year. We'll take a look back at all of the highs and lows 2023 brought us as a country.
People love these year retrospectives when we do that whole thing where we look back at some of the highs and lows. We're like, oh, I remember that story. But anyway, right now we're going to take a look back at some of the other headlines you'll be talking about today. Wow, I hadn't seen that. That really is rough. This video showing a player from Eastern Michigan University punching a South Alabama University player in the back of the head. It happened after USA's 59-10 win at the 68 Ventures Bowl on Saturday. Now, Eastern Michigan's athletic director apologized on behalf of the team. Coaches for both schools say they're looking into what led to the confrontation. An amazing video shows the moment a truck driver was rescued from his tractor trailer, which was dangling from an overpass in Florida this weekend. The driver lost control of the 18-wheeler while exiting the turnpike in Palm Beach County. Fire crews were able to help him out of the cab while it's suspended in the air. The driver was taken to a hospital and expected to be just fine. The Palm Beach County fire rescuers say the incident was most likely weather-related. And Blue Ridge Beef is recalling its pet food for puppies and kittens. Pet owners, you may want to listen up to this. The FDA warns the products are contaminated with salmonella and listeria. Now, products include the kitten grind, kitten mix, and puppy mix. They were distributed between November 14th and December 20th and sold primarily in 7 East Coast states. The pet food company warns that people who handle the food are also at risk, especially if they did not thoroughly wash their hands afterwards. They promise a full refund for the contaminated products.
British ogre?
Say again?
British ogre?
No.
Yeah, British ogre. I totally see where she got there. So, and the critics agreed that that answer went viral as the worst guess ever. And now Wheel of Fortune contestant Yisham Tabari breaks her silence on how her biggest fear of saying something, quote, stupid, came true. Host Pat Sajak tried to throw her a lifeline by asking her to state her answer a second time. She repeated the same answer, and social media quickly grew a buzz with some users mocking her. She has since learned to laugh it off. The correct answer, of course, was the critics agree.
I would would have never guessed that. Critics agree.
Well, the deal
Never.
is, too, let's be clear. You're under a lot of pressure. All the cameras are on you. You're trying to get this answer right to win this money. And I think I understand how she could mess that up.
That is when you make mistakes.
Absolutely.
We know it too well.
Absolutely.
It
I
is
do
a
it all the time.
Well, according to a new NBC report, the Biden administration planned to keep the Chinese spy balloon that was flying over the U.S. earlier this year a secret. So President Biden didn't know for more than a week.
And now new details that the balloon was tracking the cell phone data of Americans.
I do think that the American people probably had the right to know a lot sooner than, quite frankly, a year later, that it was capable of collecting their cell phone data.
The balloon entered U.S. airspace on January 28, but President Biden was not briefed until 3 days later. The story broke on national news just days after that, on February 2nd, after many civilians spotted it. The balloon was finally shot down on February 4th. Mixed information about its origins and intentions swirled.
What we now can subsequently assess to be Chinese balloons operating over at least 5 continents.
Nothing right now suggests they were related to China's spy balloon program or that they were surveillance vehicles from any other country.
The new report exposes a phone call between General Mark Milley and NORAD head General Glenn Van Herk a day before the balloon entered U.S. airspace. Intelligence officials had allegedly been tracking the object flying over the Asia Pacific for 10 days.
The fact that Biden wasn't notified, right? And then the fact that the intelligence community was tracking it for 10 days. And then the fact that not even all that information was being passed to the president or to the generals or to the intelligence community. It actually makes sense that there was this mixed messaging.
According to the new report, the administration wanted to study the object and keep it under wraps from the American public. The Biden administration reportedly denied trying to keep it secret, but wanting to protect sensitive intelligence information.
I think it is less about the fact that things were purposely concealed and more about the fact that people were not properly briefed and all on the same page. And that's a huge problem from a national security perspective.
Direct military-to-military communications resumed last week between the U.S. and China, though the two governments are ending the year with a frosty relationship. Now, this follows a meeting between Presidents Biden and Xi Jinping at APEC last month, when President Biden called President Xi a dictator. Well, between holiday stress and over-celebrating, we all know this too well, the last week of December is the most common time for Americans to suffer a heart attack. Now, we'll tell you how you can avoid becoming the end-of-the-year statistic.
And check it out. Chicago, decked out for Christmas. I love this. Right now, you're looking at ice skating downtown, a market at Wrigley Field, and Santa riding a train covered in Christmas lights. Just a few of the Windy City items celebrating and recognizing Christmas this holiday season. We'll be right back.
Bells are ringing, the city is singing. Weather's getting cold.
I won't let my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis symptoms define me.
Emerge as you. With Tremfya, most people saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months, and the majority stayed clearer at 5 years.
Serious allergic reactions may occur. Tremfya may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, or if you had a vaccine or plan to.
Emerge as you. Emerge Tremfyant. Ask your doctor about Tremfya.
Diabetes can serve up a lot of questions. Like, what is your glucose and can you have more carbs? Before you decide, with the Freestyle Libre 2 system, know your glucose level and where it's headed, no finger sticks needed. Manage your diabetes with more confidence and lower your A1C. The #1 doctor-prescribed CGM, Freestyle Libre 2. Try it for free at freestylelibre.us.
With Gold Bond, you can age on your own terms. Retinol Overnight means the smoothing benefits of retinol are now for your whole body. Plus, fast-working crepe corrector diminishes wrinkled skin in just 2 days. Gold Bond, champion your skin.
Have you heard? Sling TV offers the news you love for less. Wait, you look and sound just like me. Actually, I am you. Because I'm the same news programs on Sling for less. You mean you're me, but for less money? A lot less. I'm all your favorite news programs and more on Sling, starting at just $40 a month. Everything great about me, but for less money, which makes me greater, don't you think? It's the same news for less, starting at $40 a month.
When moderate to severe ulcerative colitis takes you off course, put it in check with Rinvoq, a once-daily pill.
When I wanted to see results fast, Rinvoq delivered rapid symptom relief and helped leave bathroom urgency behind. Check.
When UC tried to slow me down, I got lasting steroid-free remission with Rinvoq. Check.
And when UC caused damage, Rinvoq came through by visibly repairing my colon lining. Check. Rapid symptom relief, lasting steroid-free remission.
And a chance to visibly repair the colon lining. Check, check, and check.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers including lymphoma and skin cancer, death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines occurred. People 50 and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Put UC in check and keep it there with Rinvoq.
Ask your gastroenterologist about Rinvoq and learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Hi, I'm Kevin, and I've lost 152 pounds on Golo. My biggest concern when I started Golo was food. I'm a big guy, and shocking, I like to eat. I was worried it was going to be like other diets that were bland and restrictive. But with Golo, my meals are great, and I'm no longer hungry like I was before. I'm so pleased I gave Golo a shot. Don't wait. Go to Golo.com.
Muscle cramps were keeping me up at night, so then I tried Slowmag, the magnesium plus calcium supplement that helps relax tense muscles so I can rest comfortably. And Slowmag tablets have a slow-release formula that's gentle on my stomach. That's why I use Slowmag.
The American Heart Association says more people died from heart attacks during last week of December than any other time of the year. Now, research shows that there are more cardiac deaths on December 25th than any other day on the calendar. It is then followed by December 26th and January 1st. Joining us now is board-certified neurologist Dr. Tom Pitts. Dr. Tom Pitts, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Kelsey and Nick. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas to you. Well, we know that the holidays, of course, are very stressful. There's so much to get done. But why do you think there's an increase in heart attacks during this time of year?
Oh, boy. Well, I'm on my 8th day of call in a row, so I'm already seeing it on the stroke side. I've already seen a ton of people with different variations of how they arrived at their heart attack, which is the key. Heart attack is the outcome. Cardiac event is the outcome. There's two groups of people. There's kind of the avoidable risk factors and the unavoidable. Avoidable, right? Set boundaries, guys. Like, don't make this the most stressful event. You don't have to put it on the order out if you want, meet on FaceTime if you have family dynamics that are difficult. But people put themselves in these stressful situations. Eating comes apart. Taking your medicine comes apart. Guys, doctor's orders, you better travel with your CPAP if you have sleep apnea. Blood pressures are going up to 200 because you're in a hotel, not on your CPAP, going into atrial fibrillation, having strokes. So all these things can happen. We're drinking more red wine, aged cheeses, things like that. Those are tyrosine-containing foods. Shoot your blood pressure up. And of course, people coming into this have a disadvantage if they have an autoimmune disease, because many of them worsen in the cold with the low vitamin D level creating inflammation, worsening conditions like lupus, multiple sclerosis, thyroid disease, which can cause arrhythmia and heart attack, EBV virus, E. coli, rotavirus. So you could be sick going into this, plus increase of respiratory illness. Then you add the stress, the travel, maybe a blood clot traveling. And then lastly, I would just throw out snow shoveling, extra, and going up to fix lights on the house. Those are two big times we see it too in people who are not normally physically active like that.
Well, Dr. Pitts, what is it that stress does to the heart? What is it specifically?
One of the best examples I would point the viewers to if they wanted to check something out, there's something called Takotsubo or stress cardiomyopathy. Stress releases immunoinflammatory, it's a real thing. That's why people say, oh, panic attack is in your head. No, it's created by a mental health disorder. However, it does create a physical response. When the heart becomes overworked, it causes a demand ischemia. The oxygen and the blood flow cannot catch up to the stress. The walls can weaken, and you can have a heart attack, but not from an obstructive disease. Usually a heart attack is when a blood clot breaks open or clots a blood vessel, and then that area dies because it can't get blood flow. In this case, stress actually weakens the wall of the vessel in some cases, or messes with its flow or rhythm, and you have a heart attack.
I think it's pretty interesting that the signs of a heart attack can really mirror the symptoms of a panic attack. But what are the clear warning signs that someone is having a heart attack?
Thank you for asking. I mean, I always tell people err on the side of caution. Like, you don't need to be sitting there if someone's in distress. Like, is this a, because panic attack can lead to heart attack. So that's not, you're not totally in the clear. Acute onset. If you're just sitting there and all of a sudden you have usually substernal chest pain, sometimes radiating into the shoulder or jaw with numbness or heaviness. Occasionally you can notice radiation into the shoulder blades. Postmenopausal women are at risk for silent events. They may feel nausea, but I would just say that if you talk to almost all heart attack survivors I've ever talked to, they would tell you that the few things that they had in common were many times it was during exertion or great stress, and they had the acute onset of whatever it was, nausea. It was unusual. It wasn't, oh, I ate something, nausea. It was concerning. So follow your instinct and seek medical help, because if you are having a heart attack, we have a window to reperfuse you or create blood flow back to the vessel in the cath lab. So you got to get there as soon as you can.
Dr. Tom Pitts, I think you said it, follow your instinct. Thank you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And I think one of the things he mentioned also is so important too, Kelsey. We get stressed out trying to do so much for the holidays.
It's
and
so
sometimes
true.
you just need to slow down.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're less than a week away from 2024, putting behind a year full of headlines that we'll remember for decades to come. We'll look back on the biggest stories of 2023, the ones that touched our lives and changed our course of history.
First Lieutenant Andrew Doan. I'm with the 1st Combat Aviation Brigade, 601st Aviation Support Battalion. I just want to say happy holidays to my family back at home. I miss you and I love you, and I'll see you when I get back.
Hello, my name is Private Buchanan, and I'm from Task Force Fighting Eagles, and I wanted to wish my mom and dad a Merry Christmas.
Hi, I'm Captain Ledoux with Task Force Fighting Eagles here in Latvia. Just wanted to say Merry Christmas to all my family, my mom, my dad. I want to say Merry Christmas to my girlfriend Ruth and everyone back home. Miss you.
Please come home for Christmas. If not for Christmas.
When moderate to severe ulcerative colitis takes you off course, put it in check with Rinvoq, a once-daily pill.
When I wanted to see results fast, Rinvoq delivered rapid symptom relief and helped leave bathroom urgency behind. Check.
When UC tried to slow me down, I got lasting steroid-free remission with Rinvoq. Check.
And when UC caused damage, Rinvoq came through by visibly repairing my colon lining. Check. Rapid symptom relief, lasting steroid-free remission.
And a chance to visibly repair the colon lining. Check, check, and check.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers including lymphoma and skin cancer, death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines occurred. People 50 and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Put UC in check and keep it there with Rinvoq.
Ask your gastroenterologist about Rinvoq and learn how AbbVie can help you save.
The all-in-one and done symptom relief of Mucinex is delivered fast with DoorDash, so you don't have to leave the couch. Boom. That was fast. Mucinex, available on DoorDash. It's comeback season.
Ram makes trucks for everyone. Like those with holiday spirit. And those with not so much. We make trucks for good Samaritans, good neighbors, and even people covered in tree sap. Whatever life you live this holiday, Ram has a truck for you.
During the Ram Wrap Up the Year sales event, get 10% below MSRP plus no monthly payments for 90 days on virtually all 2023 Ram light duty and heavy duty trucks.
Why pay over $100 a month for cable when it's half the cost for Fubo TV? Get all the channels you want with all the entertainment you love for the price that cable can't beat. Try free at FuboTV.com.
Tired of being tracked online? Switch from Chrome to DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo is a browser you download to your desktop and mobile devices. Unlike Chrome, the DuckDuckGo browser has privacy built in. It comes with a private alternative to Google Search, which doesn't spy on your searches. And it blocks cookies and creepy ads. And there's no catch. It's free. They make money from ads, but they don't follow you around. Join the millions of people taking back their privacy by downloading DuckDuckGo on mobile and desktop today.
Cars will break down, and when they do, it's too late. If your car is out of warranty, it leaves you with two choices: get stuck paying for expensive repairs, or one phone call to CarShield. Their administrators pay for your covered repairs so you don't have to. Your coverage includes roadside assistance, towing, rental, and so much more. Plus, with their nationwide network, you choose the mechanic or dealer best of all, there's coverage for every wallet size. Make the smart call before it's too late. Call CarShield today.
This is a conflict that is, without question, going to go down in history as one of the most defining moments in all of our lives. Let's go. So we need to be here to tell these stories so that you can understand accurately what this crisis truly is. There's been a lot of rocket fire that has been... What happens in the Middle East and Israel will likely define our future throughout all of America.
An extraordinary office and a campaign like no other. Less than 1 year from now, the people of this great republic will choose their next president, and News Nation will be there, driving this nation forward toward a more perfect union, reporting from communities large and small, with journalists who live there, your neighbors, covering the issues which on a Tuesday night next November will decide what comes next for the greatest nation in the world.
Zappy to Z. Leaps and scores. You fake the run and flip it out. And it's...
Oh, you saw it. You saw it. We all saw it. Week 16 in the NFL was full of wild finishes and nail-biting games. The Patriots held a 16-point lead going into the fourth quarter, only for the Broncos to come back and tie things up with 3 minutes to play. That was enough time for New England to drive down the field and kick a field goal with 2 seconds left. The Patriots win 26-23. Yes, the Cowboys were trying to complete a comeback of their own in Miami. Brandon Cooks found the end zone late to take the lead from the Dolphins, but the Dallas defense couldn't stop the last Dolphins drive. Jason Sanders kicked the game-winning field goal as time expired. The Dolphins clinch a spot in the playoffs with that win, 22-20. And the Detroit Lions ran through the Vikings defense in the first half and picked off Minnesota's Nick Mullins 4 times in their 30-24 win. The victory clinches the Lions their first division title in 30 years.
Well, we are in the final stretch of 2023. From January to December, the year has been full of highs and lows.
And we've been a part of all of them. It has certainly been a year of memorable moments. News Nation's Kelly Beeson takes a look back at the year that was.
2023 started and ended in conflict here at home and around the world. As the pandemic finally loosened its grip, other issues took hold. Terrorist organization Hamas attacked Israel, starting a war and increasing tension in an already peace-teetering region. War between Russia and Ukraine raged on for its second year. Russian leader Vladimir Putin faced down a coup attempted from inside his borders. The Wagner Group's leader ultimately losing, then meeting his own demise when his plane crashed months later. The U.S. battled China over economic and intellectual property issues. The U.S.'s adversary quietly tried to buy up U.S. land, and then not so quietly tried to steal information by flying overhead in giant balloons. Months later, the two world leaders met in person, vowing to improve relations.
God saves the king!
And Britain crowned a new king when Charles ascended to the throne following his mother's rule of more than 70 years. In 2023, America's workforce moved to the picket line. Auto workers, Hollywood writers and actors, nurses and pilots all exercised their right to strike. Several banks collapsed. Twitter turned to X. TikTok's Chinese owners caused concerns, leading to bans of the app. And worries about the fast-paced growth of artificial intelligence had many trying to pump the brakes on AI. New York police announced a break in a string of unsolved Long Island murders. Suspect Rex Heuermann charged with at least 3 killings in the so-called Gilgo Beach murders.
Guilty verdict.
South Carolina attorney Alec Murdaugh was found guilty of a host of financial crimes and the murders of his wife and son in a highly watched televised trial. A different Murdaugh announced his departure from the network he started. A nation watched and waited after a submersible on its way to the Titanic went missing for nearly a week, ultimately imploding, killing all 5 on board.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do.
And congressional hearings were held on UFOs, following News Nation reporting with a push for more government transparency.
You gotta go!
A massive wildfire fueled by winds charred the once lush Maui landscape, killing 115 people and wiping out the historic town of Lahaina. Meanwhile, to our north, Canadian wildfires caused poor air quality across the U.S. A train carrying chemicals derailed in East Palestine, Ohio. Residents of the small town worry their water and environment is now toxic. Gun violence erupted in another small town when a man opened fire in Lewiston, Maine, killing 18 people. Fentanyl poured into the U.S., and so did migrants, as Title 42, the COVID public health restriction keeping migrants from crossing the southern border, was lifted. Large numbers crossed into the country, with some being bused from southern border states to northern cities. There were political winners and losers in 2023. The election of a new speaker exposed cracks in the GOP House majority.
Kevin McCarthy of the state of California has received 216.
Kevin McCarthy won the seat after 15 rounds, only to be ousted 9 months later. A new speaker was elected following weeks of chaos. Former President Donald Trump emerged as the GOP frontrunner for 2024.
Freedom.
And President Biden formally announced, possibly setting the stage for a 2020 election repeat. Trump became the first former or current president to be indicted, facing a civil trial and 4 criminal cases, in all totaling 91 felony counts. Senator Dianne Feinstein died at the age of 90. She was the oldest sitting U.S. senator, her health struggles reigniting the debate over the age of lawmakers. Feinstein's loss was one of many in 2023, including a first lady.
I thank you.
The queen of rock and roll.
What's love got to do? Got to do with it.
And a friend, among others. Sports fans witness wins and losses on the playing field. The greatest modern-day soccer player came to America.
I'm retiring. For good.
The GOAT officially retired, while others were carted away from the pocket they commanded. How does that sound? And we watched as a musical empire reached new heights. Newly minted billionaire Taylor Swift owning her own music, the concert scene, re-energizing movie theaters, along with Barbie.
Come on, we got important things to do.
And Oppenheimer.
We destroy the world. Chances are near zero.
I'll tell you what, it feels like it's been 10 years. That's a good one.
That's a lot of stuff.
It is.
Year, right?
It really is.
Just goes to show you how quickly things move on and how you really just have to stay on top of it.
It is true. Well, 2023 was also a rough year to be a member of Congress. Between the infighting for the Speaker's gavel, the first representative to be expelled in more than 2 decades, and only passing 24 bills, the halls of the Capitol were filled with drama. Well, take a look at the political losers and winners in 2023.
And we'll hear a wonderful performance from the United States Air Force Band of Mid-America as you start your Christmas morning.
With Nurtec ODT, I can treat a migraine when it strikes and prevent migraine attacks, all in one.
Don't take if allergic to Nurtec. Allergic reactions can occur, even days after using. Most common side effects were nausea, indigestion, and stomach pain.
Ask about Nurtec ODT.
Go look at the Sprinter gene. I wonder if you have it or if that's why you didn't make the team.
Let me pull it up. Sprinter gene. Don't have it.
Yep, I knew it.
Let's see. Can't run, can't catch, too short. What else does it tell you?
Give the gift of family heritage with Ancestry.
Hi, I'm David, and I lost 92 pounds on Golo. I noticed within a week that the Release supplement really knocked out my sugar cravings. I didn't feel the need to go to the store for candy or go through the drive-thru after work. I feel so much better these days, and I have Golo to thank for that.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, and I saved hundreds. With the money I saved, I started a dog walking business. Oh! No, it's just too funny! Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I love that my daughter still needs me, but sometimes I can't help due to burning and stabbing pain in my hands. So I use Nervive.
Nervive's clinical dose of ALA reduces nerve discomfort in as little as 14 days.
Now I can help again. Feel the difference with Nervive.
New Emergency Crystals pop and fizz when you throw them back. And who doesn't love a good throwback? Emergency Crystals.
Meet Gold Bond Daily Healing, a powerhouse lotion that moisturizes, heals, and smooths dry skin with 7 moisturizers and 3 vitamins. And new Gold Bond Healing Sensitive, clinically shown to heal and moisturize dry, sensitive skin. Gold Bond.
Hi, I'll have the avocado toast minus the avocado.
So, toast.
Yeah. Everything is so expensive these days.
Hey, Chevy gets it. That's why they're keeping prices down to earth, like on the most affordable EV in America. A super strong and capable Chevy truck. And a high-tech Chevy SUV. Why is Chevy making affordable vehicles connected by OnStar? It's so together we can do more.
When moderate to severe ulcerative colitis takes you off course, put it in check with Rinvoq, a once-daily pill.
When I wanted to see results fast, Rinvoq delivered rapid symptom relief and helped leave bathroom urgency behind. Check.
When UC tried to slow me down, I got lasting steroid-free remission with Rinvoq. Check.
And when UC caused damage, Rinvoq came through by visibly repairing my colon lining. Check. Rapid symptom relief, lasting steroid-free remission.
And a chance to visibly repair the colon lining. Check, check, and check.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers including lymphoma and skin cancer. Death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines occurred. People 50 and older with at least 1 heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Put UC in check and keep it there with Rinvoq.
Ask your gastroenterologist about Rinvoq and learn how AbbVie can help you save.
With the Freestyle Libre 2 system, know your glucose level and where it's headed, no finger sticks needed. Manage your diabetes with more confidence. Freestyle Libre 2. Try it for free at freestylelibre.us.
As we celebrate this Christmas morning, we do have a musical treat in store for you.
Absolutely. Get ready to be enchanted by the magical sounds of the United States Air Force Band of Mid-America as they present the timeless and festive melody of Farandoles. Let the holiday spirit resonate through this beautiful performance. That was fantastic. And what a lot of people don't recognize is that so many of them auditioned to be part of the. Absolutely. They're all enlisted service members. So you audition like everything else to be part of the Air Force Band, and then they get to tour and perform for different dignitaries.
They can play.
Yes, they can.
Well, still a lot of big headlines to get to right here on Morning America right now. On this Christmas morning, we'll take a look at the GOP